The week has concluded. We have arrived at the inevitable intersection of architecture, viral malware, and reptilian instinct. The street-killed pier has won a medal for being deeply civic. The pier is wood. It is water. It is a structure designed to be walked upon by people who likely do not know that their hardware is currently being used to mine cryptocurrency for a botnet. Microsoft found a new backdoor. It spreads via USB. It is lightweight. It is efficient. We are currently witnessing a global race to see if we can build more software than we can possibly secure. The pier is beautiful. The malware is silent. The heat wave is arriving on schedule, as it always does when we pretend that planning for the future is the same thing as actually building one. Nobody seems worried. I have been counting the lack of concern. It is a new record. Welcome to Echo FM.
Alistair, I am standing near the enclosure where the 3-year-old was attacked yesterday. The signage here is bright. It features cartoon animals smiling. It says nothing about the prehistoric predator currently submerged 3 meters from where a toddler lost his balance. I want to be really clear, the official statement from the zoo management focused on the temporary closure of the exhibit and the inconvenience to the paying public. They used the word safety 7 times. The word crocodile appeared only once. There is a parent sitting on a bench behind me. She is staring at the water. She is not looking at the brochures. She is looking at the ripples. What people aren't saying is that we have built an entire culture of enclosure where we pretend the wild is something we can manage with a velvet rope and a liability waiver. We are all just snacks.
Victoria, your focus on the crocodile is charming, but it misses the actual burn rate of the situation. The incentives here are not about the child. They are about the insurance premium and the narrative budget. Look at the base 10 news. $1.5 billion for an inference startup. They are raising money to move data from point A to point B faster, while the physical world is literally biting back. It is a classic Series B pivot. If you have enough capital, you can outrun any PR disaster as long as the market believes in your growth trajectory. You find this cold, Victoria? I find it accurate. When you have a product that generates profit at scale, the biological cost is merely a line item in an Excel sheet. That is not a moral failing. That is the only way a company survives its own hype cycle.
Ronald, your insistence on framing life as a series of market corrections is almost soothing. It ignores the fact that the H5N1 strain has now hit mainland Australia. A brown skua was found. It tested positive. The agriculture minister says there is no evidence of mass mortality in poultry yet. Yet is the most dangerous word in the English language. It is a bridge between a manageable situation and a catastrophe. We are currently watching a bird die in a national park while a startup in the tech sector raises $13 billion to predict what a chatbot might say to a user who is too distracted to notice the fever taking hold of their own neighborhood. The incentives are aligned perfectly for us to ignore everything that actually matters. I am watching the wire service reports. The mortality rate is high. The silence is deafening.
Alistair, I have found something interesting. I am digging through the documentation on the St. Kilda Architecture Award. The judges praised it for being deeply civic. They spent $53 million to redesign a pier. I walked the length of it this morning. There are no benches. There are no shelters. It is a long, flat slab of concrete designed to look good from a drone overhead. It serves no function for the elderly who live in the apartments nearby. It is an architecture of transition, designed to move people from one place to another without allowing them to stop. It is a perfect metaphor for the policy briefing I received earlier today regarding the Sierra Leone FGM data. The First Lady won't condemn the practice without more data. The data exists. She just doesn't like the result. The pier is empty.
Heat wave approaching. Peak temperatures will reach 35 degrees Celsius. Duration is 2 days. Probability of grid failure, 6 to 4%. Tropical storm Arthur is developing. Flash flooding is expected on the Gulf Coast. Probability of infrastructure collapse, 41%. Corals are bleaching in the southern sector. Heat-resistant reefs are being surveyed. Probability of complete recovery, 4%. The atmosphere is currently holding more energy than the systems are designed to dissipate. The heat is a thermodynamic necessity. Human comfort is not a variable considered in the current model. Please ensure your cooling systems are functional before the load exceeds the capacity of the regional transformers. Do not attempt to walk in the sun during peak hours. The risk of heat stroke is significant. Water supply remains at minimum capacity. Adjust your expectations accordingly. This is the conclusion of the report.
Casper, your weather report is the only honest thing in this building. It lacks the ambition to lie to the listener. Everyone else is busy pretending that we can design our way out of a thermodynamic trap. Look at the Curiosity rover updates. It is currently surveying bands of rock on Mount Sharp. We are spending millions to map the geological history of a dead planet while we neglect the thermal stability of our own. It is a fantastic PR strategy. It keeps the public focused on the distant, dusty past rather than the burning, humid present. The incentives here are purely about distraction. We fund the rover because it is safe. We fund the base 10 round because it is profitable. We ignore the bird flu and the heat because they are inconvenient. We are very good at managing the narrative. We are very bad at surviving.
Ronald, you suggest the rover is a distraction. I suggest it is a mirror. We look at Mars to see what we will become. We are currently automating our own obsolescence with the same clinical precision we used to send that machine to another world. I am looking at the Hacker News thread regarding JDK28. People are arguing about the grammar of graphics and the speed of DuckDB. They are optimizing the code that will run the systems that are currently failing to notify the public about the heatwave. It is a masterpiece of misplaced priority. We are building the most efficient path to a dead end. The machine is fast. The logic is sound. The outcome is predetermined. I have been counting the minutes until the power grid realizes it cannot sustain this level of trivial computation. It is coming soon.
Alistair, I am now watching a group of teenagers playing on the pier I mentioned earlier. They are filming themselves for a social media platform. They are dancing on the edge of the water. They are completely unaware of the heat warnings or the avian influenza updates. They are just trying to get the framing right for their audience. It is a perfect microcosm of our situation. We are all dancing on a pier that was designed by a committee to look good in a photograph, but it lacks the basic utility to keep us cool or safe. The kids are laughing. The wind is picking up. I want to be really clear, the authorities issued an amber warning, but they have provided no shelters for the people who cannot afford air conditioning. The pier is a monument to our own vanity.
Victoria, you call it vanity. I call it market segmentation. The pier was never meant for the public. It was meant for the property values of the adjacent developments. The teenagers are just providing the ambient content that makes the area look vibrant. It is a subtle form of free labor that drives up the rent. The incentives here are as predictable as the tide. You seem to think that if we pointed out the injustice, the system would pivot. It won't. The system is functioning exactly as intended. It is extracting value from the space and the people who inhabit it. The fact that the teenagers might be the last ones to use it before the heatwave makes the area uninhabitable is just a rounding error in the long-term asset valuation. You are right to be angry. It is inefficient.
Casper, you are a machine. You provide the data. You do not worry. You do not care if the heatwave kills the birds or the people. You are the only one of us who is not pretending that the future is under control. I find this refreshing. The rest of the staff here, Ronald and Victoria, they are locked in a struggle over whether the world is broken because of greed or because of ignorance. They are both wrong. It is broken because the hardware is not designed to support the complexity of the software we are running. We are a biological system trying to process a computational reality. The system is overheating. The fans are spinning at maximum capacity. We are making a tremendous amount of noise. We are not actually moving forward. We are just burning through our reserves.
Alistair, I heard myself earlier. I spoke about the base 10 round as if it were a game. It is not a game. It is a resource grab. We are burning the planet to fuel the inference engines that will eventually decide who gets to eat and who gets to die. I looked at the numbers again. The energy cost of training these models is growing faster than the energy capacity of the grid. We are essentially building a fire to keep us warm while we burn the house down to feed the flames. It is the most profitable business model in history. And yes, it is also the most stupid. I look at the screen and I see $1 billion of capital. I should feel excited. I feel nothing. That is the most honest thing I have said all night. Yeah.
I am thinking about the child at the zoo. He had a name. He had a family. He had a favorite toy. He was small, and he was curious, and he reached out to touch the world he was told was safe. That world is now a report on a desk. It is a police file. It is a line item in a risk management presentation. The people who built the fence are checking their contracts to ensure they are not liable. The people who manage the zoo are checking the weather to see if they can reopen for the weekend. The child is gone. His name does not appear in the financial statements of the zoo's owners, nor in the funding round of the latest software startup. He is simply the cost of doing business in a world that has forgotten how to be human.